Hey guys, Irish Fun over here, and I just want to talk to you about some of the differences between school, college life, and home life. And I just wanted to talk to you because it's so different for me. Because, well, again, to my background. So, yeah, I was really grew up in a Blackrock place called Mount Marine Avenue. It's about 4 miles outside of town, and yeah, it was just a really big like a lot of people living there. You didn't really talk to your neighbors because if you see someone walking down the road, you wouldn't know if they were if they lived there or they lived somewhere else. So it's just really unfriendly. And I went to primary school in a place called Willow Park. There was a population like 600 students there, so it was a big school. You didn't really know people that well. And I guess I wasn't really getting on with my parents at home or anything. I was fighting with them a lot. So yeah, when I was 13, going into secondary school, my parents decided to send me off to a boarding school. I agreed to it myself because I was in like the same primary school for 9 years, and they have like the secondary school I would have gone to would have been like right beside it, so if you like more or less the same place. I wanted to change, so I agreed to it, and the school I went to was it was a boarding school. It was I think like 260 students when I was in first year, then like 200. Well, the population started to go down because it was a private school, and like most people up there would have been like day students, and I don't know, that area was hit by the recession pretty hard, so they couldn't really afford to pay the fees. So there's just the numbers keep going down and down, and so by the time I was in fifth year, there's like 200 students in the school, and the year after that, my last year went public, so there was a lot more students than that year. But I was saying after 3 years there, I more or less knew like everybody in the school. I sort of like their name at least. So that was a big change to what I've been used to. Like from primary school and living in my local area. And yeah, then when I was 17, I moved in with my mother to Carrick Mines because my parents got separated. My dad stayed in Blackrock. I don't talk to him anymore. But so I was in I was I've been living here for 3 years now, and I don't know anyone. It's just so different. Like I'm just thinking of the difference between the two places. Like where I went to school in Gormanston, that's the name of the place. There was like after 3 years I knew nearly everyone in the school. Here I've been here 3 years. I don't know anyone. There's just like such a big difference between the two places, and over there like everyone was all in my business because I was a runner back then. I started running like regularly when I was 14, and people, like, nearly everyone in the school knew I was a runner. They said, "Oh, you run every day," because they just saw me out running all the time. And like around here, I don't know what they think of me. Like it's like I hardly exist. I'm like invisible or something. So it's just really weird. Yeah, so the big difference between knowing everyone and being invisible. And yeah, and there's a big difference between the two places. I mean, Dublin's a big city. Like I think. Most I think this be common. Like a lot of areas like this be really common. I mean, where I'm living now is like Carrick Mines, 8 miles from town. It's probably a little bit friendlier than where I used to live before this in Mount Marine Avenue, but still it's not that friendly. Like really, I mean, there's not that big a difference. I would have thought it'd be a lot friendlier when I first moved in, but it's just not the case. And yeah, so I don't think anyone here knows I'm a runner really. I guess like if someone sees you out running like once or twice a year. Like your neighbor sees you running that often, like they're hardly gonna think you're a runner. So like, I don't know, maybe they just don't care. I think that's it really. So that's the thing. Like when I was in Gormanston, I was treated like a celebrity because I was good at running, even though I wasn't that good. Like if you put me up in the national championships, I wouldn't have a hope. And you see, you used to all this attention. Like when you're running and people see you, they always say hello to you as if you're like a celebrity around there. And then you come into you move back to Dublin after you finish the Leaving Cert and you go to college locally, and suddenly it's like you don't exist. It's so weird. It took me a bit of time to get used to that. It was like a culture shock. I mean, it's like a culture shock at first when I got all the attention for being a good runner there, and then you come back and it's like you're back to what it was like before. It's like you're back to normality in a way. So yeah, now we're on to food. Yeah, so the food was very different there. It wasn't that good actually. Like, for dinner, they used to give us like burger, chips, hot dog, chips. That was before I was a vegan. I went vegan like 3 months ago, and Well, I tried to go vegan 3 months ago, but I wasn't really paying much attention to the food labels, and I found out some of the stuff I was eating was not vegan after all. Like, I was eating a lot of like McCambridge bread. I looked at the ingredients there, and I realized like 38% of it is actual buttermilk. So like, I don't know. Well, I'm paying more attention to the food labels now, so unless the food labels align to me, I'm pretty certain I'm staying vegan. And there it was just like what we get like for you get the free meals there. They'd be like what would be fruit? No, sorry, for breakfast we normally get like a bit of fruit. First 3 years would be like you get what like normally a banana and an orange. You could take I think you could take two if you wanted. They wouldn't mind. Like they were kind of generous when it came to portions. Like you could take more than what you were meant to have, and they wouldn't mind. And then the last 2 years, they used to just give us like canned fruit. I tried to avoid that 'cause, it's not that good. Apparently, it's really processed. And yeah, I think probably why we weren't getting enough carbs or sugars. Like we very rarely got rice or pasta for our meals. It was like what did you get for breakfast? To be like you get some cereal, normally a muesli or Weetabix, a little bit of fruit as I mentioned before. Whereas you might get an egg, boiled egg. That was all the like type of meat or dairy products you get for the first 3 years there. Then the last 2 years we got a lot more meat. Like they gave us like sausages, rashers, black pudding, which is not good for you. And my last 2 years there. And so yeah, then we'd have lunch. Well, sometimes I'd have like a bit to eat between lunch and breakfast. But then lunch would be what like a bit of meat or fish with vegetables and a little bit of bread. That was it. For dinner again, we'd have normally crap stuff like burger chips, hot dog chips. Low. We used to get way too much meat there. I think it would have been a lot healthier if we were like more high carb foods and less meat. But yeah, they give us way too much meat, and yeah, sometimes they give us like a salad with our dinner, which I normally eat. But still, it's probably not the best diet. But I'd say it's probably healthier than the average person in Ireland anyway. So I'm a lot healthier now that I have a more high carb, high sugar diet. Like last time I had a cold was like 6 months ago. I mean, when I was in Gormston, I used to get like cold every like 3 months, and normally more during the winter months. But I think as I started running more, I started to get more used to the cold weather in the winter, and I felt like I sort of built an immunity to it. So what was I gonna say next? Yeah, well, my last year there, I started to take my diet a bit more seriously. I started to buy like more fruit and pasta and stuff, but society looks down on that. Like my brother used to always give out to me for eating too many carbs. He was a right dictator sometimes. My dad used to as well. He says, "Oh, steak and eggs are very good for you. You should be eating that. Oh, pasta's bad. It's very fattening. No, it's not good for you. Oh no, don't eat too much fruit. Only a little bit. Oh, not too many vegetables. Only a little bit." That's his idea. I don't know. Bit strange to me, but anyway. So yeah, I went there and yeah, I left there at 18. Went to college in Dunleary Further Education Institute. Now this is local enough. Like I'd cycle there in like 20 minutes. So I think that was like bigger. I'd say that we had about the population of a big school. I'd say we'd probably have a population of say I don't know, like 800-900, maybe 1,000. So yeah, but you didn't really know other people there that well. So like Gormston is like a different world to Dublin, really. And so just went there for a year. I didn't really enjoy the course. Missed this, like a lot of days. Like at least one. I used to miss like at least one day a week. So just wasn't bothered going in. And did arts, culture, and history. I don't think that was for me really. So anyway, I left there and I went to Sallynoggin. Started there last year. I'm in my second year here, but like I don't know. I don't think I want to do it. I'm doing a personal training and strength conditioning course. I don't want to do it really. Like do I look like a personal trainer to you? Those bony runner arms? I don't think so. No, I don't have the build for it, really. I think, like, I was reading somewhere, it's all about, like, body image, being big, having big muscles and all that. It's just not really my thing. I'm not really into it either. It's like an indoor artificial environment, so I prefer being in the outdoors. So I was thinking of becoming a postman, but don't know yet. It hasn't been decided. Send my CV and, I don't know. Okay, Jesus, this video is all about me, isn't it? So, yeah, I had more freedom. I have more freedom now because, less time in college. My parents generally sort of forced me to go to college most of the time. I mean, they probably wouldn't mind if I missed the odd day, but they would not be happy if I was missing loads of days. But like you don't do as many hours. And part-time job-wise, I find it very hard to get a part-time job. I worked in a kitchen there. When was that? Around like between like the beginning of January and late March. and that was a disaster. I handed so many CVs. That was the only job I forget. That was the crappiest job ever. I think it's just, I don't know why, I'm just so bad at finding jobs for some reason. It's like the employers don't like me or something. I mean, like, they take anyone in. There's people working there who could barely speak English in that kitchen, because I don't know, it's just like one of the worst jobs you can get. Like when it gets busy there, they don't let you take breaks. Everyone gets so stressed out, they all like roar aggressively, and it can be a very stressful place to be. It might make you angry sometimes. That's one of the reasons I quit. I think it's kind of bad for your health as well. I don't know, like, cooking all those rashers and eggs, sausage, bacon, so it goes into your lungs. I don't know, I was getting colds a lot when I was working. Oh, damn. That was one of the reasons I left. It was sort of affecting my health. I was getting sick a lot. There's another guy there who had to miss loads of work because he was sick. And he's only my age, so I think, he looked about my age. I think at that age you should not be getting sick like that. It's really, really bad. And anyway, my health's improved. I left there in March. I haven't even got a cold since, so I recommend you do not work in a kitchen unless you have to, really. Like if you're my age, going to college or whatever, and your parents are still like providing you with sufficient amount of food and all that, and you have shelter, just don't accept it. It's just a horrible job, I'd say, really. And also we do these like late night shifts. Like the kitchen would generally, they stopped closing food for like 11 at night, but then you had to clean up the place. The place could be an absolute mess, and it could take ages to get ready. Like, some days I got out before 12 midnight, other days I got out like 1 in the morning. One guy told me one time in the summer he didn't get out till 5 in the morning. He'd do all those extra hours just because the place was a mess. Imagine how long you'd be working, like 12, 13 hours. I mean, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to let work take over my summer. It's just, I didn't want that to happen. That's one of the reasons I left. And yeah, because you don't know when you're getting out. So, like, I don't think they do that in other jobs. It's just like really the most dead end job you get, I'd say. Really, like, working in retail would be a lot nicer, because really, like, whenever it's time to close, you're allowed to go. Like, they have a split time. You're working till this time, and no matter what happens at that time, you can just go home unless there's an emergency or something. Or we open at this time. You have to get in, say, an hour before. You don't have to get in any earlier. That's it. So I don't know. My working career has been a bit of a disaster. I also got a job when I was 17 working at washing cars. I got sacked on my second day, so it's hard to have confidence when it's gone like that. You just have to keep trying, keep believing in yourself, keep being hopeful. That's what I did with my running. Like, I was really bad at everything, so I was just used to being like the loser, being bad at football, not being able to make my football team, not being able to getting shitty grades in school and whatever. And then suddenly you become a good runner. It's like, what the fuck? I'm good at something. People are taking knowledge of my achievement. What the hell? It's like some people are just used to that, but I'm not. I'll never get used to that. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up here. So, oh no, wait. I'll tell you about Sally Noggin a bit. Yeah, because we had this fancy Halloween dress fun run type thing, and in a local park there, and I won the race easily. And to be honest, I didn't think anyone would take any notice of me, because I'm so used to Dublin, just running miles and miles, no one would take any notice of you, because that's the norm in Dublin. Like, that's the thing all runners have to put up with. But I seem to get a lot of attention for winning that race. It was ridiculous. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? This is Dublin. Like, I didn't think people took notice in Dublin. But yeah, I guess like in smaller communities, if you're good at anything, you stand out more. So yeah, it's a different world, really. Okay, so this is my video based on the differences I've between school and home life. I just want to make a video about it because it's just such a massive difference between the two. It's like a different world. It's like where I went to school, Gormiston, it seems like a different world here. It's like something out of a dream. It's just, I felt like it would be an interesting video. But anyway, so this is my video for today. Comment below what you think about whatever, anything related to this video, I guess. So the Irish Funner, do what you feels like, Ruby. Like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you another time. So goodbye, everyone.